Okay guys, we're doing a second video because the first one got shortcutted. So we're finishing greasing these front wheels, and then we're going to check for the rest of the grease fittings on the mower. Make sure they've all had grease at some point in time. These deck spindles and the front wheel spindles are the most important because they take the most heat. And this one needs to be maybe moved a little. Let me roll the machine forward so you can get on that grease fitting. A little more. There. Okay. Okay guys, we're going to show you where the rest of the fittings are that are important, but they don't have to be greased that often, and they only take 1 or 2 pumps. So on the frame of the machine, okay, Eli, show them. There's one right there, and toward the back you've got one back there underneath, and then you've got one up top right there. And then you have one on the deck hanger back there. Now that one will take more grease, maybe 6 or 8 pumps, but the others will only take 1 or 2, and they don't have to be greased as often because they're not spinning at high rate of speed. All right, so same thing on this side. You got one under the front, you got one under the back, and then you got the deck hanger back there. Now there's also back in behind here, there's a grease fitting on the brakes that needs a couple shots every once in a while on both sides, one on each side. They're hard to get at. And also underneath the very back of the mower, we have 2 fittings on what we call bell cranks. Now you see the pulley on the left, that's the tensioner pulley. There's a bell crank on the front of that, and there's a fitting on it that takes a couple shots of grease. And then up toward the front, toward the deck, up underneath, there's another bell crank that has to have a couple grease shots every so often. Okay, so that's all the fluids and the grease. We've filled up one gas tank over here. We want to make sure we got plenty of gas, so this one here we just filled up, and you probably can't see it, but I can see it right there. That gas is full, so we're going to go around the other side, and I think this is down a ways. Yep, so we're going to top this one off with gasoline, and it has to be high test non-ethanol gasoline. And don't want to fill these tanks completely full unless you're going to go out and use some out of both of them, because as the gas heats up, it'll blow the tank up a little. Okay, we've topped this tank off, and we're going to close the can up. Make sure the cap is put back on tight properly. Alright, so now we should be ready to mow, but one thing I want to do is take a look at my mower blades and see if they've gotten dull. Okay, yeah, this one's a little dull, so it's going to need, and the deck under here has gotten kind of caked up with. That's another thing going to have to be done. This deck has got to be cleaned out underneath with a scraper, and the blades are going to have to be ground and sharpened. So we will do that later, and we'll make another video about that. Okay, now we're going to demonstrate how to properly start the mower. Eli's climbed on board there. First thing he's going to do is make sure both of the wheel controls are all the way out into their parked position. Make sure the brake is on all the way up. Throw it down once, take it off. Okay, that's off. If it's off, the mower will not start. So you got to have the brake up in the on position. The wheel controls both out. The PTO has to be off, which is in the down position. And then you're going to want to give it about half throttle. Pull the choke all the way out, give it about half throttle, and then you can start it. Probably take choke off right now because it's warm. So if the mower's warm, the choke don't need to be on, but if it's cold, it needs to be used. Okay? So when we get ready to mow, we're going to move down onto the grass. Got to take the brake off, bring our handles in, move forward, and park it. Okay, now at about half throttle, once the mower's warmed up, and you got a gauge on here, temperature gauge, that shows you the temperature of your engine. You need to let the engine warm up a little bit. Once it's warmed up, then you can, at about half throttle, you can engage the mower deck by pulling the PTO switch up. Okay, when you're mowing, one of the things I want to stress when you're mowing is go around the outside edge, pick a section that you want to mow, a whole section. You go all the way around the exterior edge. Usually we do twice, and then if you're blowing the clippings in on the edge because you want to keep them off the buildings, off the road, and off other people's property, then after your second round blowing the clippings in, you can turn around and blow the clippings out. And then just keep going around, blow the clippings out. Now, personal lawn like I have here, I won't mow that way because it doesn't make it look pretty. But up there at camp, that's the way you want to mow. Spread the clippings out, just keep blowing them out. While you're mowing, all four wheels should stay on uncut grass. Your cut line should be somewhere right in here, around the inside of this wheel, about 4 inches outside of your wheel. Your little this little wheel here should be your guideline that can run on the cut grass. This wheel has to be on uncut grass. If you move over, and I've seen a lot of guys do it, their cut line's way over here, then you're wasting half your time and a lot of fuel. So you run your cut line out here, keep your wheels on the uncut grass all the time. You only need about 2 or 3 inch overlap onto your cut surface. Okay, so gentlemen, that pretty much makes it for today. Happy mowing, and thank you for what you do.